Okay, so today's video we're going to be talking about the throat center in human design, specifically relating to how you can be a more confident and effective and authentic person when it comes to sales conversations. So many of my clients tell me that they really still struggle with having a sales conversation with potential clients. And actually, I used to feel like that as well. And now I realize that it is simply a conversation when you are finding out more about the person's needs and desires and seeing if your products and services match up to that. And if it does feel completely aligned, then that's when you can go and make an offer and invite them in to come and work with you in whatever capacity you are offering, whether it's a product or whether it's a service. But we get so caught up in the emotion of it. And I really don't think that the coaching or mentoring industry, if you're in that industry like me, really helps, because there's so much noise out there in terms of you need to say this thing, you need to say that thing, you need to follow a script, you can't say this, and it's like it just gets so muddled. And actually, it takes it away from what it is, a really organic adult conversation when you are looking at the possibilities to work together. Now, one of the biggest breakthroughs that I definitely had in terms of my sales conversations when it comes to attracting in high ticket clients and clients who are a joy to work with, like soulmate clients. And so many of my clients have had breakthroughs from this, is when I discovered that actually I sell through my defined centers and I guide through my undefined or open centers. That was the biggest breakthrough for me, because then I started to break down what these conversations look like and where my natural tendencies and attributes are. You've got to remember that when you are having these conversations with people that potentially could lead to a new contract, a new sale, a new relationship with this person, what they are looking for is someone to lead and guide them through a process. So they're looking for understanding from you, they're looking for credibility, they're looking for someone that they can trust, that they know that they are completely aligned to, and someone that will be able to help them and support them. So for example, I had a conversation just yesterday or the day before, with the most amazing woman. I know that we're going to work together, and her words to me was, look, you're going to be built into the budget, because we have to have you on the team, and the capacity of me on the team as a projector is someone that can actually guide them through the process. So I'm not being on the team to work, I'm actually there to be used as a guide and a mentor to the founders of the business as they are growing their business, as they're scaling their business. And these are the conversations that I'd love for you to have. So look, I'm just going to strip this down and just make it really, really simple, because we like to overcomplicate things as humans, don't we? But this is about stripping things down and about making it really, really simple. So twice a week I'm recording this in August, so the whole month of August, I am going to be coming on here and posting on YouTube 2 videos a week. And each video we will talk about a human design center, and we're going to talk about defined and undefined. So today it's the throat center. Now, you would think that the throat center is the most obvious center to talk about when we're talking about sales conversations, because the throat center is the center for speaking and it's the center for manifestation. And you would be right. It definitely is one of the most important centers, but also one of the main takeaways from the video today is that actually having these conversations with people and to ascertain whether they'd be a good fit to work with it's just as important to listen as it is to talk. And please remember that. So I've been on sales courses before and sales training where they're like, you need to get on and you need to like take leadership in the conversation and be the first one to talk and be the one that's sharing. You know, this is a sales conversation, it's not a coaching call. And even though I understand the line of thinking around that, I absolutely strongly disagree. Because for me personally, if I'm going to get on a call with a high level client, first of all, they are investing their time in me, and their time is very precious. Okay, time is money, their time is very precious. So they are giving their time to me. And I want to honor that. And I want to be able to facilitate a guided conversation. So this is not about me going in and railroading and trying to force them and cajole them into coming and working with me. This is about me asking questions and finding out about them. What do they really need? And very often, what do they actually mean? Because sometimes what they're speaking about might not be the full picture. So it's very important to listen to the words that are not being spoken, and as well as the words that are being spoken. So in this case, it's really important for you to use your intuition, and the way that you are very, or the centers that you're very intuitive in, are actually your defined or undefined, are actually your undefined and open centers. Okay, so the undefined centers and open centers are just as important as the defined centers. And I just wanted to put a caveat in for that while we were speaking about it. So what we're going to be doing today, I've made some notes here, so I'm just going to bring them up as well so that I don't go off track, because I want these to be like 10-minute videos and we're already nearly at 7 minutes. Okay, so this is about having a conversation with someone, leading with your authority, being a leader, of course, being a leader in that conversation, but then also converting that person into a sale if they are a good fit. This is not about getting as many bums on seats. This is about bringing in aligned clients. So this is my human design chart, and the throat center sits just underneath the Ajna center. I would recommend that you go and watch the videos about the head, about the Ajna. So the head is the triangle at the top. The Ajna is the upside down triangle that sits underneath the head. So the Ajna, so the head is ideas, inspiration. The Ajna is conceptualization, that's the mind. And then we come down here into the throat, which is this square center here, which, as I've already said, is the center for manifestation, and it's the center for speaking. So just because your center is defined does not necessarily mean that that's what makes you a great salesperson, and if it's undefined, it's not. Because as I've already said, it's just as important to feel into and listen to the conversation instead of talking all the time. So what's the difference, and how do you apply it to sales conversations so that you can really have those wonderful conversations that will lead to those high ticket sales? First of all, if your throat center is defined, that means you have consistent energy within that throat center. Okay, so you have a very consistent way of speaking. You have a very consistent way of expressing yourself. This carries power and magnetism. People can feel that from you. So there is a frequency within your voice that naturally positions you as a leader. One of the things that I would say with you as a defined throat is to be really aware of over talking or dominating a conversation. I've got a defined throat, so I have to be very, very aware of when I am on a conversation with anyone, not just a sales conversation, that I am not dominating the conversation, because I love to talk. You can tell that by my videos. That's why I love to speak. I'm a speaker. I speak on stages. I do record videos like this. I love to speak. So it's important to understand that. So I'm always like very aware of that when I'm having a sales conversation with someone. I'm like, okay, just remember to pause. Just remember to pause and to listen to what they have to say back to me. I need to listen to them as well as talk at them. And also allow others to meet your energy, because you want to be meeting your client where they're at. You know, if you're all like high energy and high impact, I've also been on sales conversations like this where it's like, hey, yeah, I'm really excited to work with you, and like, let's do it, woohoo, let's do it. And I'm like, you're not meeting me where I'm at in terms of my energy, because I don't feel like that today. So be very mindful about where your clients are, or your potential clients are, on that conversation, and meet them where they're at. You might need to tone it down a little bit if you are naturally like high energy and high impact, because believe you me, if you're like that with someone on a call and they don't feel like that, or that's not how they are normally, you will lose them very, very quickly, because they'll be like, this person is too much for me. I'm not going to even think about investing, working with them for 6 months or a year or 3 months, or however long it is, however long your program is. Okay, so that's the defined center. So remember, the person that you are speaking to will be bringing in your energy, and then they will be amplifying it. Now that might mean that they're actually meeting you where you're at, but just feel into it. It's really important to be very intuitive on these conversations. The undefined or open throat center means that you do not have consistent energy in that area. That doesn't mean that you're not a great speaker, and it doesn't mean that you're not good at speaking, at talking, and it also doesn't mean that you are not a natural salesperson, because absolutely you can be, but it's a little bit more nuanced. So this really gives you a wonderful gift to be able to adapt your tone and language intuitively to the person in front of you. You're very intuitive in that area. My throat center is defined. I have trained myself to feel in to that person and meet them where they're at. With an undefined and open center, that's what you do intuitively. So use that. You have the ability to really help others feel seen and heard by creating space for them in the conversation. One of the things to look out for if you have an undefined or open throat center is that you might feel that you have to fill in the gaps. If there are spaces, if there's too much silence, it might feel a bit uncomfortable for you, and therefore you need to fill in the gaps, because you really need to, you can't have silence. And this is about really understanding that the pauses, the silences, there is real power in that. Sometimes it's even more powerful just to pause than actually to speak. So you don't need to fill in those gaps. You can just let it be. Just have a moment. Be with that person. Be with that person. Hold a space for them. And then feel in naturally to how they're feeling. Is a wonderful, wonderful power that you have with an undefined and open throat, that you're very intuitive in that area. It's very powerful. And then of course, very powerful with a defined throat, that your voice carries that power and magnetism. Here's a challenge for you that I always set to my clients, and that is to experiment with your inner not with your inner authority, with your strategy when it comes to your human design. So your strategy is create success for you, and it's how you create opportunities. So for example, as a projector, my strategy is to wait to be invited. If you are a generator, manifesting generator, it will be wait to respond. If you are a manifester, it will be to inform before you act. And then as a reflector, it'll be wait for a full moon cycle, 28.5 days on average. However, that is not my that is not my coaching on today's call. I definitely do not expect you to wait 28.5 days in order to speak. There would be a slightly different strategy, and if you're a reflector, you can come and have a conversation with me about that. But when it comes to speaking, play with your authority. So I really love to play with this. So, you know, this training that I've been in so often in this world where it's like, you need to speak first. You need to be the person that speaks first. You don't let them speak. Don't let them speak. Seriously, this is training that I've been in. I paid a lot of money for this training. When you go on a call with someone, don't let them speak. What the fuck? Seriously. Okay, so this is not what I recommend. What I do recommend is playing with your strategy. So I like to wait to be invited in. Does that make me any less of a leader on that call? No, it makes me even more potent. Okay, generator, manifest, and generator, you can wait to respond. Manifestor, slightly different, you can inform. Okay, so this is interesting, right? Because, and reflectors come and speak to me, a lot of this training has been designed by manifestors. That is such a manifestor way to be. Don't let them speak, you speak first. Yeah, that's a manifestor initiating. What if you're not a manifestor? You can't do it that way. Well, you can do it that way, but it's not going to work for you. Okay, so we've gone to 15 minutes, 16 minutes on this one, but I think it was a really important one because yeah, the throat is very significant in these sales conversations. So I'm going to put the links below for ways that you can come and do some further work around this. And I am also going to be doing a workshop on September the 4th. It's a 2-hour workshop where we're going to be diving deeper into selling from your centers. And that's what it's called. It's called Sell from Your Centers. I'll put the link for that below. Any questions below, any aha moments below. I really, really love the interaction actually on YouTube. I love, love, love it. So please comment, please ask questions if you have any questions, and I will see you soon.